There's a storm out there, but I don't care. Yeah, I've got Mike's weather page. Here we go now. Okay. Mike's weather page. You know you were tracking every move it makes. Mike's weather page. You know you won't let us all get blown away. Is it just me or is there spinach over here? There's spaghetti models and empty rum bottles, and sometimes Louis says hi. Hey, Louis. But you don't get no hurries and don't have no worries, cause we're drunk donkey nationwide. Everybody now. Mike's weather page. You know he'll be tracking every move it makes. You know it's Mike's weather page. You know he won't let us all get blown away. Did I ever tell you the story of the drunk donkey? Once upon a time, there was this weather woman. You can come as a pilot, you stay kind of quiet, but you know you love watching Mike's page. So put your cone head shirt on, watch it live on your phone, and drink drunk donkey beer all day. Here we go now. Mike's weather page. Mike's weather page. You know you won't let us all get blown away. Is that Blobby Bobby? I think that's Juicy Jerry. Yeah, Mike, throw a party, man.
Good morning, world. How are you today? Doing good over here in Oldsmar. We got 2 dogs again today. 1 headlight and 2 dogs. We'll have to do like the 12 days of Christmas. 12 tornadoes, 11 hailstorms, 10 wind gusts, 9 Frenchies by Tracy. Good morning. All right, what's going on, everybody? We're going to talk some weather here. Let's see, what dog are we going to grab first? Let's grab Hunter because he's on top of Louie. Laura Dixon wants to know about the season of tornadoes so far. Areas that normally don't get them. Michigan having their first tornado emergency ever yesterday. I'm sure you saw that. All the focus was on the day before, and then look what happened. And then today, unfortunately, today's looking like, last week, a couple Mets I follow were worried about today. And now we have a red up, and they might even expand that, they said. Man, if we get a level 5 out of 5 again today, for sure. So good morning, everybody. This is our Daily Brew coming to you live from Oldsmar, Florida, which is right there next to Tampa Bay and Clearwater. Middle part of the state, that's where I'm at. We go live all the time. We'll be live next Friday. No live tomorrow, next Friday. Next weekend, I'm going to the Governor's Hurricane Conference, so I leave after our live on Monday. We will not have a Wednesday live, but we'll be back on Friday for Friday live. So next week's Monday and Friday. But that's a big event. That's very important that I'm going to be there. So I'm going with the Furman crew, Greg and Brandon. And Phil's going down with me, so we're going to have a nice 2-tent setup, 2 booths setup. So if you're coming to the Governor's Hurricane Conference, look for the big, probably be hanging out with my buddy Greg and Paul with U.S. Flood Control and Tiger Dam for sure, too. And I think the guys from Lodging Solutions will be there. So I'll be all over the place. It's a great event if you live anywhere in Florida or anywhere that want to go to it, the largest hurricane conference. So, Letty Young, good morning. This is a little Louie, or Hunter. Good morning, James. Yeah, man, Emily got Player of the Year at her district. She's up for Tampa Bay top 15. She's in the top 15 in Tampa Bay right now. Tampa Bay's got thousands of softball players, and she's now being voted for the top 15 in Tampa Bay from another magazine. So, She has until June 1st to get that voted in. Busy week for me. Yeah, 2 newspaper articles yesterday. I got a big interview today from Naples. Another one tomorrow. Doing an ABC commercial on Friday. Heck, man, we got all kinds of stuff going on. If you live in an area, though, make sure you check out Palm Harbor. Palm Harbor is giving away 2 Furman generators this weekend. It's Saturday. I got a flyer here. I want to show you. God, now I got hair everywhere. God, don't wear dark shirts. Ew. Big thanks to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits as always being our big sponsor. Like I said, we're doing a commercial this Friday. I can't wait for y'all to see that one. This weekend, though, here's the flyer. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Hurricane Expo. So if you're around the area this Saturday, Palm Harbor, awesome. It's 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock. We'll have a table set up. And they're giving away 2 Furman generators and a lot of other stuff. But they're giving away 2 Furmans. So they asked me to have a table there. And part of their thanks for... And they bought them from Furman. So thanks for supporting the companies that support me. Gatlinburg today, Rhonda wants to know. Well, you better pay attention. This is Gail's boy, Louie. Anybody else's air conditioners on overtime right now? We got Emily graduating. Let's see what Louie looks like. Let's stay. Hey, stay. Louie. Stay. So we're getting ready for that. It's going to be a sad day growing up, for sure. Here's the storm reports. Let's talk about a little bit of weather, and then we'll get into what's happening today and tomorrow and Friday and this weekend. We got rains coming next week, maybe. What do you think about that, Louie? Yeah, it's hot, Eric, man. Whew, I'm telling you. One more thanks, and we're going to get right into weather. Big thanks to FDEM. I'm sure your Meteorology Summit. One of the most intimidating speeches I've ever had to do, because in the crowd was all seasoned Mets, National Hurricane Center folk, the director, National Weather Service folk, and all eyes were on Mike. No, they were all great. All right, here's your storm reports. Man, what an active 2 days, right? 30 tornado reports so far. These are always preliminary. They get updated and changed quite a bit. But anyway, 30 reports for the 6th, and yesterday, 26. And look, so many of them are right there in Ohio again. Obviously, Michigan was the big news yesterday, right there in the southern part of Michigan. We had some right there in Illinois on the border there, Indiana. So, man, active day yesterday. So 2 days, 56 tornado reports so far. Wind reports over 440 in 2 days. Those are like, when you get a tornado warning, they're not always tornado warnings, but it's still a bad storm. Just because it's not a confirmed tornado, it's still strong winds, and that's where we get these high wind reports. So, Eric, yep, it's going to be 95, and we could have some folks seeing 100 in Florida today, man. Unbelievable. That's right, Loretta Reed, right? Emmy's graduating. Mark, I know, right? We went from one extreme to the next, man. Stacy Wilson, thank you. Good luck. Good morning, Keisha Cruz. Perry, did you come to Taylor County Hurricane Expo? I was up there. Thank you, Richard Reamer. Good morning, Ryan Sullivan. Good morning, Josh Prime. Bill Barber. Good morning, Teresa. Boylan boy. Hampton Inn and Oldsmar. What are you talking about? Post videos about it being hot, and they act like I'm an idiot. They're like, I'm like, listen, I'm a native. I can say that. Anyway, all right, so there's storm reports. Let's see what else is cooking. Let's talk hurricanes. It's coming up. So above me on my video here, that is the current 7-day outlook. That is going to be up there all season long. It's pretty cool. It's a graphic that shows you the circled areas of interest. We get those 7 days out. So NHC now, yet last year started doing their 7-day outlooks, so we'll see little circles soon. Trust me. Big old weather coming up there. Yucky humidity. Scott said Ohio sirens were up until 11:30 last night. Scott, man, Scott. So you're in Ohio, man. They've said Ohio's had the most weather that you've ever had up there. Serious weather, crazy. Marcia, thank you. Joanne, Boca Raton, what's happening? All right, so there you go. So that's what's coming. Now, look, there are signs, nothing to hype up nothing. There are signs that we can see a little something trying to slide over the Central America there, pop it into Pacific. This is one of our graphics on the webpage, mikesweatherpage.com. Historically, so doesn't mean anything. Most of these Pacific storms are harmless. They stay way away from Hawaii, and they usually don't curve back up north, usually, but sometimes they do curve up and go into the Gulf of Mexico and become trouble. So we believe it or not, something I didn't do years ago, Getty models from Pacific storms, because they are very, very not frequent, but there's been a lot of, There's been a lot of storms that have curved up through Mexico that have been either regenerated into something or maintain their core. So not very likely, but always. And last but not least, for this area, the latest European probability map. Little dot here, nothing to get worked up about, but this is definitely, if there was a hot spot for early season tropics on the Atlantic side, it's there, followed by there. And that is mainly because of old frontal lines. And guess what? We have an old frontal line that's going to be hanging out all next week. So that's kind of an area, but very low chances right now. A little more chances for the Pacific. All right, radar. This is what's going on right now. This is right before sun up. There's a bow of storms coming down today, and this is going to get heated up. So we're going to have to talk about the latest Storm Prediction Center outlook, where we have a pretty serious pressure area that now is flattening out our storms here currently, but you can see quite a few storms still. I think they just issued a severe thunderstorm. I think I just saw it. Yeah. So we do have a severe thunderstorm watch until 2 p.m. here for Missouri in the blue. And you can see that on the radar. And this is going to, bring us some storms across New England right now. Anybody up there in New England northward? There's, this is spinning. In fact, let's look at this thing spinning. And then we'll get into the current Storm Prediction Center stuff for today. Here's that big old low. They call that a cyclone. Yesterday they were talking about a deep upper cyclone. And I posted that video of the upper level winds in satellite imagery yesterday. All right, so here's your current Storm Prediction Center. Let's do a refresh. They have a new one at 9 and no big changes. All right, so here's today. Today. Good morning, Miss Katie. You are late. Heading up to the Gulf Coast Jam, and hope to see everybody up there. I'll try to post where I'm at if you're not in the concert so we can hang out. Yankees are coming to town, Brenda. Oh, my God. Rays are on fire right now, man. They are awesome. So proud of them. Nancy, good morning. Will, what's up, buddy? All right, so this is pretty serious in that red area. Again, very rare to get 4 or 5 on the outlooks here from Storm Prediction Center. What surprised me more than anything is this large yellow area. The large yellow, believe it or not, even dark green can be sneaky with strong storms, but that's a huge area from Texas all the way to North Carolina along the Atlantic coast there. So this is today. Lots of storms to develop throughout the day into tonight. Latest tornado outlook. Large hatched area, unfortunately. Upper part of Tennessee, western Kentucky. Definitely lower part of Illinois, Indiana there. A lot of confusion with the two hatched areas. You know, a lot of debate. People get, oh, I don't know. I think you see this big, large yellow area, and everybody in that area assumes they're going to get a tornado, but it's not how it works. The environment is favorable for development of storms throughout the day, and this is the area that they're concerned about. So doesn't always necessarily you're going to get any bad weather. It just means that, you know, be on the lookout. You never know where these things are going to start popping. Brown all the way down through Texas. So we can have, you know, what I've seen, rule of thumb, under this tornado outlook on the Storm Prediction Center map, if you're brown generally means tornado watches are coming. So there you go. All right, tomorrow. Things slowing down a little bit tomorrow. Let's finish out today, though. Wind outlook, hatched area. So what's interesting about this hatched area for winds, and we have a 45 to 59% area, meaning chances are there. 74 mile an hour or greater wind gusts. That's hurricane force wind gusts today. So they're expecting big old Boeing lines of storms to get it today, regardless of tornadoes or not. So you can have 74 mile an hour plus winds in these hatched areas. And hail, look at that. Hail, hatched area 2 inches or plus. I mean, that is a large area. Yellow all the way to Atlantic coast. So anybody, there's a lot of people today that could see some storms. Jacobson Candy, well, you're welcome. Thanks for watching. So there you go, Jenny Rees. Yep, Missouri, you got to pay attention. For sure, that's a large map. All right, so there's everything today. Tomorrow, there's our storm map for tomorrow. Again, what really baffles me, again, is the large area of Texas all the way up past Virginia along the eastern seaboard there, mid-Atlantic. So large area again tomorrow. They might tweak this. Who knows? I mean, this is a day away. They'll have a new update throughout the day today. But this is all the way down to the Florida Panhandle tomorrow. Yellow. Got to take note. See some strong storms. Tornado outlook tomorrow. A little bit in Texas, southeast, mid-Atlantic there. So we'll see if this gets tweaked. So far, they're not concerned about tornadoes as much as they are today. Big winds, yes. And then on Friday, this is what we've been talking a lot about. I posted the SIPS model yesterday, and it now showing up officially. We can see some storms tomorrow, Friday, is this frontal line. So what our frontal line is doing is basically flattening out. That's what they do this time of year. So we're going to see Florida kind of getting blocked down here, but we're going to see the storm chances dip into Florida more a little bit tomorrow. So, level 1, definitely take note. I've seen EF3s in Florida under the green. Now, it's very rare. But don't think just because it's not a level 3, 4, or 5, don't pay attention. Dark green is always sneaky storms, especially you got 100 degrees out there, man. That does not take long for supercells to form and hail this time of year because we still have some cold air up aloft. So crazy, right? Rainfall anomaly map. All right, so let's get through the weekend here. Beth, you are in Clearwater. How about that water temperature? We'll show that, man. The water temperature yesterday got to 85 in Clearwater, man. Sue, Texas needs a break. Katie, that was your avocado, yes. Tennessee, Linda, yeah, you got more storms coming, it looks like. We're going to do time frame, just Karen, over on, I'm going to do a time frame for you. Just hang loose. Let's talk about the next 48 hours. The 12Z just got done running. Hey, Bobby. All right, so let's talk about next week real quick. Then I promise I'm going to show you. We'll do the 48-hour time stamp. Joanne wants to know the strongest tornado that ever hit Florida, East Coast, West Coast. Well, what year was that? 92 or 3? Somebody correct me. We have the best weather people in the world. But we had an El Nino winter one year, and unfortunately we had an EF3, a couple of them that year, go through Florida. We had some this year, Panama City. We had one in Crystal River. So 2s and 3s happen in Florida. See, Jason Cloud, great point. Said they had 2 tornadoes last night in Arkansas, and they were only at a level 1. 92. Thank you, Mark Roach. Thank you, buddy. I knew it was right there around there. Eventually, you get so old like I am, and everything starts blending together. Right, what's this real quick? We're going to talk about next week. Let's do the next 48 hours. This is just a preview of what I'm going to do after the 48 hours. This is a rain anomaly map. Now, I posted this yesterday. What this means is, this is on tropicaltidbits.com. This looks at a 7-day average of rains, historically rain anomalies, basically, and, rainfall averages above or below kind of normal. Well, this is basically showing you next week, we're going to see increased rains across the southeast and some into Florida after Friday. This is next week, and I posted that weather earlier. And one more graphic before I do the 48-hour. This is your long-range hazard map. This is a brand new one today, day 3 to day 7. This is an outlook from what day is today? Wednesday. So Friday to next week. There's your heavy rain for 5/12 through 5/14. So 3 days of heavy rains coming across the upper Gulf Coast. And we still got frost and freeze parts of Michigan there and Wisconsin. Imagine that. Crazy. All right, let's look at the 48 hours map here. Timing. This is a very scattered day. It's very, let's see. Let's see if we got any bow echoes or anything showing up. Okay, so radar. Here we go. 41 hours. All right. Here's kind of going on right now, but this is that little pop-in storms that they're worried about. So I don't think it's so much now. As a matter of fact, let me read something real quick, because the storms that we're getting now really aren't what we're worried about. Let's see. Surface lows evident over southern North Dakota. That's all going to be spinning up. Warm air, a lot of warm air out in front. Late afternoon. Yeah, afternoon. I just want to make sure they weren't talking about morning tornadoes. All right, so here's that secondary line. These are all the little storms popping. So realistically, I mean, God, you got a lot of different weather coming in. Here's about noontime today. Nashville, noon. Then these storms start popping. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. This is more than likely these little supercells here we're worried about out ahead of this big line with another line incoming. There's a lot of, this is a very sloppy system. And look at this line. All right, this is overnight tonight. Remember yesterday, I did my TikTok, but this is overnight. This is 1 a.m. tonight. And look at that Boeing line of storms, man. Might be entering the Carolinas, Charlotte overnight tonight. This is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And here's this storm chances, obviously. So some of these storms tomorrow, it's just so much random stuff happening right now. Once this front lingers, we're going to have a secondary pop tomorrow. Basically, that's why we have all this area highlighted here tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Some of this is going to be overnight, some is going to be in the morning, some is going to be in the evening. So tomorrow is just going to be kind of random throughout the whole day. Here's 10 a.m. tomorrow. There's a little Boeing line of storms, leftovers in the Carolinas. Might get some new ones popping here later in the evening with another line developing through Alabama tomorrow evening, overnight. This is about 7, 8 o'clock. You can kind of just see the weather flow. A lot of instability out there today. Let's look at some supercell maps, see if anything is actually showing up. Oh yeah, you get a little line right there. This is this evening. So let's talk about right here. This is about 4 o'clock. Makes sense. Daytime heating. This is 4 o'clock, 3, 4, 5 o'clock this evening. You can pretty much see the yellows and the oranges and the reds. Down into Texas, we can see some storms popping. It could be a pretty significant line as the sun goes down. Things weaken a little bit. And then tomorrow we could see a little bit randomly throughout the day there. You can see that. But So today it looks, again, it's more afternoon, evening today. It's very odd setup. It's not your classic jet stream little system. Here's lightning. Let's see what lightning looks like. There's heavy lightning. This is 4 o'clock. This is midnight. You can see that line. It's going to be sneaky tonight. This is about midnight tonight. There's going to be a line of storms crossing down into the south. A little bit of thunder in the morning here, 7 a.m. across the Outer Banks there and down into Georgia a little bit. Then our second round pops tomorrow. This is throughout the day tomorrow. So this is a very random, odd setup. I think this is a very pay attention all day kind of thing for everybody the next couple days. And radar is your friend. Radar scope is my friend. All you need to do is keep that radar on, and guess what? You pretty much know if it's coming or not. I guess we can look at the NAM here. Let's look at the NAM real quick. See what we got for anything. I don't know if I got a regionalized one. Where is it? There she is. All right, southeast. Let's go. We really can't go southeast. We'll just leave it right here. Let's look at, I guess, radar. I don't know what the on here. Let's see if it's similar. So we have multiple rounds for sure. Here's this morning. That round disappears, but then we get another round popping. This is 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So there's your. This is the line they're worried about. Obviously, this is right here. This is if you need match that up with your Storm Prediction Center. There it is. So this is this afternoon, obviously, and we're gonna have that line pushing down south. So makes sense. There you go. So that'll be when we're watching everything. And then that secondary line overnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, we can see another line. That's that one that the HRR is picking up. And then tomorrow, obviously, there's all this stuff across the south. So sloppy tomorrow. I wish I'd. Where are you living at, Angela Rose? Why is it so windy? Sahara update. Ian, we'll get to it, buddy. Good morning, Joe. You're late. No commercials, Shelly. Hi, let's look at long range. I want to go over these hurricane preparedness week stuff too before we go. For sure. I'm going to drink some coffee here in a minute. I need some coffee. Everybody drink some coffee. Hey, we had another cruise booking yesterday. We're halfway full. Utopia of the Seas. Don't wait. We're already over. We already got more cabins than we had last year. So find out all the information right here. MWP Cruise on the web page. New NMME run came out last night. Is what it is. We could do that. Where's it at on? For what do you want to look at? Precipitation. These are long range modeling. Obviously, the hurricane season is coming, and we have so many predictions showing an above average season. A lot of models highlighting the increased water temperatures, increased moisture, low wind shear. 3 things you need. Last year, the water temperature was hot, but we were in El Nino, and we had some wind shear, and we had a lot of middle Atlantic storms. Historically, La Nina helps brew my theory is in looking at past La Nina years, if we have a lot more westward component, we have a stronger Bermuda high in place, a lot less storms in the middle Atlantic, giving more opportunity for storms to reach the Caribbean into the U.S. And that's kind of what everybody's looking at. All right, so here's your latest precipitation outlooks for the month of July. Green is inches above normal. Yellow would be below normal rains. So the rains start in Indian Ocean. They come across Africa. Anytime you see rains all the way across the main development region means opportunity for storms to develop, especially when you start to see increased rains in the Caribbean. This is July. This is August, September. And what we don't want to see in October is this green, and I'm sure we will, and we do. This is because storms brew down here and go up. So my theory for this season is this. August, September, peak seasons, we're going to see more storms having the ability to do that. We haven't seen that in a while because we're going to likely have a strong high pressure in place. Last year and other El Nino years, we have a lot of storms that develop out here doing this and missing everybody, including Bermuda. But in years that have a stronger high in place, there's definitely more push. More push. Now, the other thing we worry about in October, historically, is that, and that is very common in October, hottest water of the year. We're going to be definitely in La Nina by then, meaning low wind shear. So that's November, or September. Here's October, November. All right, and then other things we can look at, I guess we could look at sea surface temperature anomalies. This is predictions, but any white is normal water temperatures based on 30 years. Anything above that nears 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above. And again, these are on tropicaltidbits.com. But here's your July water anomalies. August, September, October, November. So look at the Pacific. It's not everybody. It's just the Atlantic. Pacific actually is expected to be cooler than normal. So it ain't, not hyping anything up that. It's just with the winds, a lot of upwelling, keeps the water cool. Less wind shear, less winds, less upwelling, and more opportunity for waters to get hotter than normal. So, and then we can see we don't have anything else at NME. So anyway, thanks for pointing that out. There is what it is. I forgot it came out. But yeah. There you go. We will see, right? I did an interview yesterday for a magazine newspaper here, my buddy Jeff. We all get wrapped up in the amount of names. Everybody wants to know how many names we're going to get. And then, we have a season like last year where it was 20 names, and it was the 4th largest ever season. But yet, unless you lived along the path of Idalia, you thought the season was dead. So it only matters really if a storm affects you or not. It doesn't matter how many storms we have. And I think, 2020, you had more than one storm living in the upper Gulf. So could definitely see that again. What's up, David Berryhill, Georgia? I think you're fine today. What's up, Sean? How's Massachusetts going? David, going to the Braves game. All right, man. Have fun. Yeah, Adam's going on a cruise in October, right? Well, the good thing about cruises is they usually bypass your storms. Oh, let's check out Georgia from my boy here. I love baseball this time of year when the Rays are getting better and better. Here's what's cooking here in the next few days. I want to show you. This is Weather Nerds radar. And we are going to put up radar and do a loop. I think the storms are going to be overnight in Georgia tonight, so I think you'll be all right. but we'll see here. Stop. So here is Wednesday today. We already went through the long range. So we're going to talk about what's coming this weekend. Yeah, it'll be close. Man, it might be close to you. This is midnight. That big line passes through Georgia overnight, so it should be right. You should be barely okay. Barely. Barely okay. But what happens next week's interesting. So our front's going to flatten out. We can see this with surface charts here real quick. Let's show you. This is Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. Look what happens. It kind of flips into a warm front. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, I've learned a lot over the years in meteorology. A lot of it's self-taught. A lot of it's learning from others. And one thing that stood out years ago was from Mike Clay, Bay News 9. Always said, watch out for warm fronts. Now, that mainly might be for wintertime season, but I don't turn my eye away from warm fronts because they can bring sneaky weather. So we're going to have a front that's going to stall Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And what that means is that's going to bring up the rain chances for the upper Gulf down into Florida. It's been wiggling around. It's been going north a little bit, south a little bit. But let's go to the weekend to kind of show you. So here's Saturday morning. All right, here's that front line, Saturday morning. You can see it over there, Bermuda. We talked about this on Monday. I don't know if Lori's in here or not, but Bermuda definitely this weekend is going to get some action from this old frontal line. This is Saturday morning. But watch what happens to our front line. This is basically it, all the way to Texas. And what happens is this actually starts to fuel some storms on the back end of it. But as we get into Sunday, we start to see things brewing. Now watch what happens when we get into Monday and Tuesday. Here's Sunday afternoon. There's this initial rains here. This thing's backing up. You can kind of make it out a little bit there. But then we start getting this. And this is Monday midday. There's your first blob. Okay, here's Monday night. Decent blob. Storms. Who knows? Hey, could be the start of rainy season from an old front. Now look at this. This is Tuesday morning. Big old blob out in the Gulf. This one kind of lifts a little bit Tuesday morning. But, man, this is Tuesday. And some of it could reach, obviously, where I'm at. Then on Wednesday morning, look, we got more out there. Look at Thursday. Another blob comes into the picture. Look at that little guy, man. He's a big blob. Looks like a bird. A free bird. Needs some wings. Look, there's a wing. There's his nose. Look at that. You get a little eyeball. Yay. Flying in. Fly. So that's Thursday morning. A lot of this is lifting north, but there's another line coming in on Friday morning. So it's I like using words and stick to them. Like, so the story next week is random rains with some sneaky storms. And that's basically, there's no telling right now who's going to get what. Now, if you go to the 7-day rain map, you can see a lot of rain showing up. And this is all the way from Okeechobee north. Now, yesterday, some of this was a little farther south. So it all depends where this thing ends up parking itself. But this is rainfall through middle of next week. It's even going to be higher as we get into Friday. What am I clicking here? There we go. Model animator. All right, so look at the rainfall through, let's just do the southeast. And you can just see it continually fueling. Look at that. Another line. So by Friday, I mean, this is one model, but by next week, we could have some pockets of rain here. Purple, 12 inches plus. That's through the week, not at one time. But you can just see that it's starting to set up. White is 7 to 8 inches of rain. So multiple rounds of rains possible. GFS is showing similar. Oh, I gotta go. I got an 11 o'clock thing. GFS is showing similar. And, you know, this is through Thursday. Another blob coming into play by Friday. So, you know, these little, wherever these little purple white things go, could be anywhere. But we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches here for a lot of folks. So that's the storyline next week. Model blend. What do we got here? 240 hours. Oh, look at that. That's a cool thing. I like this one. Let's open this one up. This is a blend of models. This is through next Saturday morning, a week from Saturday morning. But pretty much tells you, at least through next Saturday, long way, next 10 days, this is kind of what we're going to be watching for. Kind of. But we like to look at long-range weather patterns, right? Things are changing. This front that's coming down today that's causing all this storms, is a front. Here's Friday. This front is going to flatten out on Saturday and on Sunday, and then eventually it's just going to stall for several days and bring in a lot of moisture across the southeast. So that is a weather-changing pattern that we see this time of year, where the fronts, usually come down like this. This time of year, they start to flatten out and stick to mouses. They do that. So a sign of the season. And then the reason the tropics are kind of sniffing a little bit here is because sometimes these old fronts will linger and spit out a little low pressure area as they scoot off. So not a lot of confidence in that right now. So I'm not going to waste any time talking about it. A lot of folks are talking about the 10-day or long-range pressure here. Let me show you this one, since we'll go to tropical tidbits, talk about things like this. Let's go to Euro, and why is it EPS not showing up here? Oh, Western Atlantic. So basically, long-range Euro showing lowering pressures in the Gulf middle May. And this has been a talking point to a lot of people. So a lot of wind shear and whatnot. The Euros aren't really even showing it much right now, so not really worth talking about it until we really start to see any sort of a major change. But just to let you know, a lot of people talking about, there are lowering pressures into the month and the early part of June. That's just too far away to take bets, so that's for sure. Look at that. Severe thunderstorm watch for upstate South Carolina. David, thanks for pointing that out. I'm telling you, today's weather is really wacky, man. We got weather all over the place. Not on my map yet, but it will be probably if you said they just did it. So this came out. So this is Hurricane Preparedness Week. The hurricane hunters are out flying around. Just to kind of go over things. Miss Tammy, your daughter, is graduating from SPC. Wednesday, next week. Well, it might stay to our north. So. Julian, we did not have a rainy season last year. That is correct. Hey, Chris, I remember you texted me on that special operations thing last year, right? Didn't they cancel that last second? All right, so this is Hurricane Preparedness Week. I've been pinning these on Facebook and sharing them everywhere else. Good reading. I'm going to leave them up there under our pinned area. I might put them all out there once they're done. Today's was get moving when a storm threatens. That means protect your home. Cover your windows, unless you have hurricane windows. Only from direct remodels, 40% off. Determine where you're going to shelter. Consider your pets. Get your go bag ready, meds, supplies, charge phone. Make sure your car's already. Oh, look at that! They added fill up charge vehicle. That's new. We actually have both, so we have to do both. Car should always be full in hurricane season. FDEM's even got a beer called Halfway Full, Halfway There. Letting people know. Always have gas. Because you know what? If you wait to the last second to get gas, everybody else is doing the same thing. And the chances are you're either going to be sitting in a line forever or the gas station's out of gas. So always have gas in your car. So anyway, I posted all these. Understand forecast info. Know your hazards. Rely on your forecasts from the Hurricane Center. Know your alerts. These are all good information. Prepare before season like now. So all these are good things. You can find them anywhere. But this is Hurricane Preparedness Week. There'll be a new graphic tomorrow and Friday. Know your risks, water and wind. I'll put all these on my website probably. I'll put them up top and link them all. But it's very important stuff. Know your risks. Prepare now. Understand information and get moving when a storm threatens. Those are this week's top first 4 topics right now. As of now. GHC next week. Hope you're going. We have Hurricane Expo. Let me pop it on my buddy Dunright Roofing here since we're talking about roofs. Have cash in hand, Helen, right? Nobody ever has cash. Cash is king. Let's see if we get our hurricane blog up here since we're talking hurricanes. There's all kinds of good blogs. These are my good friends from Dunright here. Here's a good one. How to avoid roofing scams after the hurricane is gone. Right there. So we'll leave that up there right there. So these gals are right here in my hometown. They do a lot of sponsorships. They sponsored Emily's softball team this year, Palm Harbor University. They sponsored a lot of local stuff. So I always appreciate that. And they support me too. So we're good friends locally. So if you need anything locally, Clearwater, Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, please give them a call. Great people. I've met them a bunch of times. And they have some interesting blogs here that you might read about. There's a lot of roofing scams after Hurricane Irma. So, good article on there, how to take care of scammers after hurricanes, for sure. Mike's got the best stock. Go to ABC. Governor's Hurricane all week. Yep, I'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And hopefully see some locals at the Palm Harbor Hurricane Expo. They'll be there done right. As my buddies from Direct Remodels, as we were just talking about hurricane windows. So we're going to have a great Hurricane Expo this weekend. Again, they're giving away 2 Furman generators. That was awesome of them. No mouse pads, but really appreciate Palm Harbor for buying a couple Furmans to give away. Jason wants to know, a great question. What category would I leave or evacuate as a Florida native? Well, I think that goes down to knowing your risks. Like, how categories to me are very overrated. Category 4 Charlie, totally different storm than Category 4 Ian. Sandy was a Category 1. Florence was a Category 1. We've had Hurricane Ike in Texas was Category 2. It had 20 foot of storm surge. So first thing I would do is, definitely look at where you live and your risks and know that, A, winds are going to bring power outages regardless. Winds are winds. Winds are categories. So a lot of the evacuation decisions for me and a lot of folks should be based around water and storm surge potential. And if you're in an area that can flood, a slow moving system, a lot of rain will fall. We've had so much inland flooding from hurricanes. So a lot of us looking at the forecast, where you live. For me, anything that's going north of Tampa Bay, Category 2 or 3 or 4, if it's going north of Tampa Bay and we're hitting on a high tide, probably evacuate, because I don't want, my family's stuck here, not being able, not stuck, but 911 calls aren't going to be able to drive around. You might not be able to move around your city because roads are going to be underwater. That makes it hard for linemen to do their jobs and get power back. So for us, a lot of it depends on flooding more than anything. But and if you're not prepared for power outages, anything, category, heck, man, any hurricane can bring down power outages. So again, it's all about knowing your risk and what zone you're in. And a lot of it's, number one, for me, it's based on flooding and surge. 3, 4, 5 damages, wind or rain, are pretty serious. Category 4 and 5 are destructive. It doesn't matter water damages or not, you're going to get wind damage, and you have trees falling down, and that just goes for your vehicles, like if you at least you evacuate, you got one vehicle that's not going to get destroyed by a falling tree. Tornadoes are a big part of hurricanes, and so I guess the answer is every storm's different, and really understand your zone and the impacts that you could have, which it goes to right here. Know your risk. So you consider your threat: storm surge, flooding, winds, and tornadoes, rip currents. Determine if you live in a flood-prone area. Find out your evacuation zone. Definitely listen to local officials. If they say evacuation A and B, I trust my local officials. And of course, identify your home's risks. If you're in a mobile home, they obviously, are not safe with any wind storm. So again, it's knowing your risks. I always show that mobile home park down in Ian, man, and like every third home was completely flattened. It was terrible. So most of them luckily evacuated. I assume they all evacuated, because I don't know how anybody could. That was terrible. Jason, you're in Pensacola, definitely about wind. You get, ask anybody who went through Mexico Beach and Panama area and northward from Michael. If you're on that right side of a hurricane going up towards Mobile and Pensacola, man, a lot of people went through Sally. Sally was a sneaky little storm, and so I've changed a lot. I used to think it was silly to evacuate, and I've changed a lot of my opinions over the years, talking to people, and it doesn't hurt if you have any hesitation about a storm. It does not hurt to get away and go inland 20, 30 miles. I mean, definitely the impacts are less the farther inland you go as far as severe impacts. But the biggest story in Florida, everybody's evacuated Charlie and Ian and Irma, and they all went to Orlando, and all 3 storms went to Orlando. Power outages in Orlando. So those are the same risks you might have living 20 miles off the coast here, where you live there. So, those are those risks you have to determine if you're okay with. But, 80% plus hurricane deaths are water related. So again, for me, it's water and knowing if you're in an area that can flood. And if, Evan, I totally think if I had to pick which was worse, nothing against Charlie, but Ian was bigger, wider, slower, high tide, double the surge, quadruple the rain, inland effects 10 times worse with Ian on both coasts. I mean, we're talking all the way to the East Coast. A lot of the seawall damages from the East Coast were from Ian, even though Ian was already a tropical storm by the time that it crossed through our state. That was just from a tropical storm. But Ian was so large, it created such a massive, Ian had so many tornadoes in South Florida before the storm. A rotating storm, the right side, you get a lot of storms. Outer bands start reaching way ahead of, everybody focuses on the eye, including me. a long time ago, focused on the eye, but you don't realize a large system like Ian, those outer bands are reaching 12 hours ahead of time, producing tornadoes in off of the Atlantic. So we get a storm on the Florida West Coast. That Gulf Stream in South Florida and Bahamas, you're going to get storms wrapping around the state. And so many stories from Irma. Irma Naples was flooding Brunswick, Savannah, Carolinas, because the storm was so large. It pushed things, and people told me they evacuated Irma and went to Brunswick and Savannah, and they woke up to their cars underwater from surge. So again, it's water, Get away from the water. I mean, think about it. I heard the story firsthand. They went to a hotel, and they couldn't believe it. They went to a nice hotel in the water, figured it'd be nice, little vacation. No idea. They evacuated from Naples. They woke up the next morning and the whole parking lot was underwater. All their cars were flooded. And I don't know if it was either Savannah or Brunswick, which is so close together, one of the two. But think about that. So the number one thing we talk about a lot is people don't focus enough on inland effects and effects way outside of that center and how they can affect people. That is the biggest misconception, in my opinion, with hurricanes is everybody focuses on that landfall and that center line, and they don't realize that they're going to wake up to 30 inches of rain in Port Orange and with a flooded house, or seawalls getting demolished along Daytona Beach area from the counterclockwise winds coming in off the Atlantic because of a storm that's, hundreds of miles away. Corey, great question. Hurricanes are not too hard to predict, I don't think. I think there's exact prediction, yes, but overall, no. We have so many reputable models now that you pretty much know a zonal area of who's going to have the highest likelihood of what effects, rain. So basically you got storm surge, inland flooding from rains, and then the winds. And the winds, of course, are tornado-driven, heavy winds, and saturated grounds. Areas that don't have a lot of storms over history have a lot of power outages. Idalia hit an area that never sees storms, so we had a lot of trees go down. This season, last year in Maine, I think it was Lee, came in at a different angle. Winds were blowing around at a different motion than they normally are with nor'easters, and locals said the winds came in at a different angle than nor'easters. They had a lot more power outages in Maine because the countryside was molded to nor'easters, and the trees were used to those kind of winds. And then here comes a tropical system with different angled winds, and they couldn't handle the different angle winds, and we had millions without power. That's where you start looking at modeling Harvey. Some storms don't have a lot of rain. Fast-moving little storms don't have a chance to dump a lot of rain. Weakening systems, like luckily Idalia, it adjusted some dry air, weakened a little bit before landfall, still a lot of rain, but some storms slow down. Ida was one that slowed way down, and fed off of those brown water effects of the marshes of Louisiana, and kept on going up past Lake Pontchartrain up toward Baton Rouge. They had just as bad of effects than many hurricanes in the past, coastal wise. So every storm is different, and but you can see this ahead of time. Like, okay, big storm. Here's the motion, a lot of moisture, and that way you can start identifying risks ahead of time. And Ian was predicted to do what it did as far as flooding. They have ground saturation levels, and we were at 98% in the state of Florida. Rivers were already peaked, so they knew that flooding was going to be a concern. And those models were predicting 20 inches of rain were correct. Harvey's models were correct with the amount of rain. And, you put a little common sense behind it, and you're like, well, it's going to stall. It stalled. That's why it made sense. They was predicting 30, 40 inches of rain because it was going to stall. There was blocking high pressure on all three sides. They had nowhere to go. So, anyway, what are you guys talking about? I got an 11 o'clock appointment. Yep, I know. There is a new cone, Mirtha. Yes, the greatest thing ever is a new cone this year that actually minimizes the cone, and all your eyes are really going to focus on are watches and warnings. So you're going to see inland watches and warnings, which are going to extend way outside the cone. Bigger system, more watches and warnings outside the cone. Tinier little system. So I think that's going to be huge to let people know, who can get what inland. Most importantly, people forget sometimes. So Idalia, Idalia was not predicted to be a very strong storm. We predicted it because of models. Common sense. Adam, I don't think I'm going to any hurricane expos in St. Lucie, but wish I could. Joe, they are correct. Weather Channel's always been good with those graphics. It's always been hard for me to find them, but now the Hurricane Center is going to have them, which is great. So, David says North Carolina, South Carolina are severe weather watch till 4. That is just telling you how wild today's weather. There it is, right there. It's from that line right there, obviously. So that line's expected to brew a little bit through the Carolinas there, through Asheville, Hickory. Oh, the mountains. Not good, the mountains. That means those winds are magnified. So somebody was asked about Gatlinburg earlier, but you definitely want to pay attention. That's today through 4 p.m. Eastern. Lots of weather the next 2 days to talk about. Big talk, of course, is today, and that red and orange, really, and yellow, and green. Someone pointed out Arkansas yesterday. We had 2 tornadoes in the dark green. I always say, man, if you are in level 1, be just as aware as you are in 2, 3, 4, or 5. Trust me. Level 1 means the atmosphere is a little bit more supportive of more organized thunderstorms. Dark green is 1. Light green is just what do they call it? Not even marginal or something. I don't know what they call it. Dark green. No label. They're just thunderstorms. Dark green, you can still get your normal afternoon thunderstorm. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get anything. It just means they're not enough jet stream, not enough upper level winds to promote anything too organized. But once you start mixing in all this instability in the upper atmosphere with the jet stream, which is a great animation here, you can kind of see it. Jet streams whipping. A lot of upper level winds converging in that area. Low level winds here are coming up. Jet streams doing that. Anytime you get conflicting winds at a lower and mid levels, you have chances for storms. Here's your 850. There's your little low, high pressure. That's what's keeping it sunny and dry, Carlos, Florida. But there's your winds doing that, and that. But then you add in your jet stream, and we're going to have more horizontal winds like that. So anytime I see conflicting winds, then you have a lot more chance for spin-ups. And the reason Florida's not in that zone, we really don't have any jet stream winds to worry about. We have just normal winds to worry about. That makes sense. Does make sense. Hell yeah, it makes sense. Anyway, All right, hey, I've been an hour. That's awesome. We got to rest my voice. I got another good morning. Hey, Michael, summer mornings. My ears did get lowered, Michael. Yes. Yeah, you know, I always joke. Irene, if you're watching, I have my favorite lady that cuts my hair now, and I got a commercial Friday with ABC, Fine Wine and Spirits. And I got a TV interview here at 11, so I'm like, well, I got to get my hair cut. That's why. Oh, anyway, anything else? Why is my thing stuck at Storm Chaser? Oh, you know, I don't know what the hell that means anyways. This is Storm Chaser. All right. Well, listen, we will be live on Friday. I've been earning frequent. Yeah, you're right, Bobby. Wind's elevated, but yeah, elevation definitely creates flash flooding. Let's see if we got any flood advisories up for the mountains today. We sure do. Hey, good point, Bobby. This is your flood outlook for today. So Kentucky and Tennessee, there are good chances of possible flash flooding today. And this is going to stretch south a little bit tomorrow. Look at these water temps. Fascinated by how fast the Gulf warms up. I predicted we would be at 88 by the end of the week. So we hit 84.6 last night. And it did not go. So dip. So yesterday it got down to 82 before sunrise, or at sunrise, a little bit morning tomorrow. Yesterday, so it was 82.2. Look at it today. It got down to 83.1. So it was already a degree warmer this morning. So that probably means we're going to cross into 85 degrees tonight. But high temperatures are even greater tomorrow. We have some hundreds coming in Florida today and tomorrow. So we're going to see definitely some hundreds scattered throughout the state, upper 90s. Tomorrow's even hotter, 96 showing. Let's zoom into Florida a little bit more. So tomorrow, we got 97 in Lakeland. Upper 90s all the way through Jacksonville, Orlando. Almost the same as today, actually. A little bit of cool down coming on Friday as that rain takes over the northern part of the state. Maybe a front comes through, but not really. So this is only going to make those water temperatures hotter. So, Nancy, have a good day. EC. Hey, EC. Yeah. Is it right? No, we talked about this yesterday. See my good wife? Actually, it's Zoom, not phone. But was it SE? We talked about it Monday. SE. I beat you to it. Mark Johnson, hey buddy, thanks man, thanks for being on the Brew Crew over there. All our great supporters allowing us. I got my Starlink. Oh God, I don't know. I like it. Trust me, I like it. I built 2 different racks, and I did not like the way it shook. I got the original, so I didn't know there was a Gen 3 that just came out. I got the Gen 2 Starlink that moves to find the best tower. Gen 3 is more of a flat base, but you need a power supply and some other things with it. So I'm going to stick to my Gen 2 for now. There's companies that you can cut the case, mount it in this thing, and the problem is then it's like technically not waterproof unless you do a perfect job. And I'm afraid, and it's on the roof. So anyway, I mounted. It looks redneckish as hell, but I like it. I got it mounted on my flagpole hitch in the back, and it's easily I can pull it out, put it away, put it in. Cables are nice, runs right to my back. It's blocked by the wind. Only sticks out about this far. I think I'm going to do it. I like. It looks like a satellite on the back of a news truck. I don't know. I think it's growing on me. So I'm going to go test it here later. I want to see if I get if it moves around. It finds the satellites while I'm driving. Yeah, Chad. Yeah, Shelly. The only thing I think what I need. I'm not going to spend $2,500 on the roof one, but you know, just ask them if the ones that you cut the back of the Gen 2s actually how will water be a big issue if it's not sealed, because somebody makes a nice one, but you got to cut the dang thing all up, slide it in there, and then you know got an O-ring and so you know I don't know. But then I've been reading the Gen 3's got a little better signal, but I don't know. I really don't want whatever. No snorkel or nope. I did talk to Goodyear about that. Yeah, it probably would work. Because yeah, I talked to I mounted. So the first one I mounted was on the front of my tailgate, and I knew the metal up there is too thin, Josh, and I knew it. It was perfect. It was perfect because it came off the back, but the metal was too thin, and I got a lot of that, and it starts doing that harmonic bouncing stuff. So I could not handle that. I couldn't be going down the road that thing doing that. So, and I got a cover. So the flat roof might be the only way to go. But I don't know, man. This is pretty original. I'm pretty stoked about this one. So, all right. I'm going to sign off, everybody. Brew Crew, I'm going to do your last call here. We're going to be doing it. Too Tough to Tame. That means Darlington. Hey, listen, we'll be live Friday. Remember, if you're ever curious about when we're up again, I always make sure I update this right here. Next Daily Brew is going to be switched to Friday. You can always watch today's here, or your Facebook, or X, or the MWP Crew page. So we'll see you Friday. Friday merch drop. I think we got some more radios coming in. I think I got another 20. Hopefully they get here by Friday. All right, have a good day, all right?